This is Dumbed Down Life, number 51.
Not so very long ago, in the top left-hand corner of Wales, there was a railway. And in a shed, in a siding, at the end of the railway, lived the locomotive of the Marianne and Lancaster Rail Traction Company Limited, which was a long name for a little engine, so his friends just called him Ivor.
Bagpuss. The most important, the most beautiful, the most magical, saggy old cloth cat in the whole wide world.
In Boston, leaving work on a Friday night. He changes out of a three-piece suit, slips on them cowboy boots, and there's a soccer mom in Detroit at the end of a long, hard week. She pulls them Wranglers on, meets the girls at the honky-tonk. She can't fry no chicken, he don't drive no truck. They grew up north, but sure enough, when the band is playing Sweet Home Alabama, the devil went down to Georgia to Cotton Eye Joe. It don't make no difference where on God's green you're from. Don't you feel a little southern in your soul? There ain't no magnolias up and down Park Avenue, but them Yankee girls look awful cute with their Gucci bags and Daisy Dukes. Out there in California, they got surfers, suits, and punks, and they're all gonna raise a glass when they hear Johnny Cash. Ain't no Mason-Dixon gonna split them up. Y'all, there's a little rebel in all of us. When the band is playing Sweet Home Alabama, the devil went down to Georgia to Cotton Eye Joe. It don't make no difference where on God's green if you're from. Don't you feel a little southern in your soul? Well, at one time or another, we've air guitar to Allman Brothers, sang along with Marshall Tucker. Can't you see? Dreamed about that Mississippi. Well, who don't want to take that trip? Every time you take a sip, oh, Jim Beam. Y'all know what I mean. When the band is playing Sweet Home Alabama, the devil went down to Georgia, a Cotton Eye Joe. It don't make no difference where on God's green earth you're from. Don't you feel a little southern when the band is playing Sweet Home Alabama, and the girls are shouting out Roll Tide Roll? It don't make no difference where on God's green earth you're from. Don't you feel a little southern? Don't you feel a little southern in your soul?
Sean Patrick McGraw and Southern in Your Soul. Now, I started the intro for the show. It was playing a little clip from Ivor the Engine and from Bagpuss. Now, the reason for this being, on Tuesday, I found out that Oliver Postgate has died. Now, do any of you two guys know who Oliver Postgate is?
I don't, but I could probably hazard a pretty good guess.
And I read the same news article as you did, so yes, I know now who he is, but I wouldn't have known the name before that.
For those that don't know, quite obviously, he's the creator of Ivor the Engine and Bagpuss, and other ones include the Clangers and who's the other? Noggin the Nog. I don't know.
The Clangers, weren't they the guys on the moon?
They were who did all the whistles and stuff. Yes.
Okay.
Now, I've got to say, he's
The Soup Dragon.
Sorry, the Soup Dragon. Yeah, absolutely. That Oliver Postgate really sort of sums up my childhood TV with Ivor the Engine and Bagpuss, two of my favourite children's shows.
You know, I've got to be honest. I remember Bagpuss because I remember the image of the fat, dusty old cat in the old antique shop window. I think it was.
It was,
wasn't it? Yeah, I remember that, but I never really watched it because this sounds a little odd, but things like that kind of give me the creeps.
Why?
I have no idea. Cartoons do as well.
Cartoons give you the creeps?
Yeah, they do. I think it's something to do with the Twilight Zone movie, where you had the kiddie who could control everything through cartoons and whatnot. But yeah, my whole life, cartoons have given me the creep. And I don't know, for some reason, Bagpuss, there was something creepy about that shop, and I never wanted to go in it when I was a kid.
Now, it wasn't an actual shop because it never sold anything. Having listened to the introduction to the show to make that recording, the shop was a lost and found shop owned by Emily. So she never actually sold anything.
It was Emily that owned it, was it?
Sorry?
It was Emily that owned it. I don't remember ever seeing Emily as a character. I thought that she was always just the introduction sort of thing.
She was. You never saw her. The idea is that once Emily's bought... What the shop was for, it was a lost and found shop. Emily would find stuff, bring it to the shop, and then Bagpuss and his friends would fix whatever the thing was for that week's story, and then it would get put in the shop window for whoever lost it to come by, see it, and claim it. That was the idea of the shop, but you never actually saw Emily
repair it and stuff, wouldn't they?
Yeah, so you never actually saw Emily other than in the photos at the beginning, and the sort of animals came alive once Bagpuss woke up, and Bagpuss would only wake up when Emily wasn't there. So that gave rise. The one that I remember the most, funnily enough, was the little flour mill. It was like a doll's house flour mill, and it was broken. And the mice on the mice organ, they fixed it, and it made chocolate biscuits from butter beans.
Yes.
But it turns out it was the same chocolate biscuit, and they just kept wheeling it round the back, pouring in some more butter beans, and then pushing the biscuit out the little slot.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But yeah, so it's a real shame that he's died. Obviously, he hasn't done anything for many years. But
do you know what his last one was?
His last one, he actually did something. Let me just find it. I will tell you. In 1986, he did a 50-foot long illumination of life and death of Thomas Becket for the book of the same name. That was the last thing he did. But that's for the last.
That sounds thrilling.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But his last TV show, I think, was The Story of a Doll's House, which is not one I'm familiar with.
I remember Ivor the Engine. I remember the
and that was Postgate doing the sound.
How
how they used to do it.
In the valley, which was actually a big digger thing.
The what? Sorry.
The dragon in the valley, as you went through the valley, it was actually a digger, wasn't it? But it would cast a shadow that looked like a dragon.
No. There was a dragon.
Yeah, there was a proper dragon.
There was a proper dragon,
dragon,
and his name was Idris.
You see...
No, don't remember that.
Idris the dragon, a small red heraldic dragon who also sang in the Welsh colliery choir, lived with his wife Olwyn and their twins, two Welsh names that I can't pronounce, in an extinct volcano.
Yeah, I seem to remember something about the volcano.
And Idris hatched from an egg that was in Ivor's fire.
Yes, that's right.
You see, this is a problem. Maybe I did watch them as a kid, because I do have vague sort of flashback type memories in my head of them, but I think years of various substance abuse has just depleted.
Oops.
You know, you were saying about cartoons and such like you find creepy, and you were saying about the Twilight Zone episode where the kid could control things through cartoons.
Yeah,
it reminds me of a book I read when I was at school, and it was called Paper House. Either of you heard of it?
No.
I've no idea who wrote it, but it was a story of a boy who he drew on a piece of paper a house, and when he goes to sleep and dreams, he ends up in this house. So when he wakes up, he draws a little bit more. Just excuse the racetrack again. He draws a little bit more, and when he goes back to sleep, he wakes up and that thing is drawn. And I always found that fairly disturbing. It ends up with him getting sort of really annoyed, and there's a man living in the house, and he draws bars across the house, across the window, so this man couldn't get out. And I can't remember the full story. It's been a long time since I read it. But that was a creepy story. I remember that was giving me the chills.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is about cartoons. I mean, not like, I watch The Simpsons, I watch Family Guy, which I love, excuse me, and they don't give me the creeps. It's just, there's something about cartoons, kiddie cartoons and stuff like that. I just find them really, they unnerve me.
I can't see the sort of link why it would bother you.
No, I have no idea either. But then again, I have no idea why I'm scared of spiders, and I am.
Oh no, that's quite a sane, rational fear, mate. They don't need that many legs.
A cartoon spider, then you'd be absolutely climbing walls.
Yeah, do you know, that's what I always say, Darren. I'm scared of two things in the world, flying and spiders. So if there's ever a flying spider, I'm done. I do actually think I know why I'm scared of spiders. I know this is a bit off tangent, but I'll mention it while I think on it. And I think the reason is, when I was a kid, there used to be old railway tracks down near where I lived. This was in Roystonlands.
Near the museum.
That's right, yeah, all up down there. And you used to be able to go up there in the summer, and you'd lift the rocks, and there'd be these little black lizards, maybe 2-3 inches long. And I used to catch them and keep them as like pets. And you kind of had to be careful, because if you were too rough with them, you'd pop their eyeballs out, which was probably rather unpleasant for them.
Squeezing them too hard.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what you would do. Anyway, I used to keep them in a big fish tank at home. And I would feed them various bugs and whatnot from the garden. One day I caught a big garden spider and put it in there. Now, obviously, by the very fact that I caught the garden spider suggests that at the time I wasn't scared of spiders. But I came down the next morning, and the two lizards that I had in the tank were both dead. They had bite marks on their belly with this white pus coming out, and the garden spider was perfectly okay. So I can only assume by,
deduction
that the garden spider had bitten and killed the two lizards. And I honestly think, because that's a really vivid memory for me, so I honestly think that's what sparked off my arachnophobia.
It's going to do it, isn't it?
Many were infected. Infected with a disease that thinks, a disease that talks. And as the victim finally succumbs, a disease that walks. One man fought back. He resisted. But when Perry awakes, he can still hear the voices. Scott Sigler's horror thriller, Contagious, is available as a hardcover or audiobook in bookstores everywhere, and also as a free podcast novel at www.scottsigler.com.
Hi, this is Scott Sigler, author of the novels Infected and Contagious, and you are listening to Dumbed Down Life.
I think I lost you along the road,
because I didn't know how to grow.
Maybe that's why I feel so old.
My life flashes before my eyes.
Maybe we can talk over a beer
about the way we think things ought to be.
We can try to remember how we got here.
And whatever became of me, wouldn't it be fun to pretend that the earth was round and we were 16 again? We could drive all night until the sun comes up, my friend, and I'll listen for your name in the wind.
And I think I missed the train.
Well, I guess I should have bought a ticket.
I don't think I ever changed.
Time slips by and I'm still the same.
We were running hand in hand.
I didn't know you'd go so fast.
That's why I just don't understand
how you reached your destination and I'm still living in the past. Wouldn't it be fun to pretend that the earth was round and we were 16 again? We could drive all night till the sun comes up, my friend, and I'll listen for your name in the wind.
I'm the last one.
Well, I'm the last one standing here.
Just a relic.
I'm just a relic in the museum of our lives.
I'll be waiting.
Well, I'll be waiting when you come back. I'll be the one who's just a step behind the time. Wouldn't it be fun to pretend that the earth was round and we were 16 again? We could drive all night until the sun comes up, my friend, and I'll listen for your name in the wind. I'll listen for your name in the wind.
And this is Sunspot with Pretend, and the links to their music is available in the show notes. And I can't hear whether the music is actually finished or not, so I hope it has.
It has.
Has it?
It has.
Okay. Right. You kind of cut it all straight across there. It didn't fade out and play quietly in the background like I was expecting it to.
No, because if I leave it on when the mic's open, you get an echo effect.
You get the feedback. Yes,
yeah.
Of course you do. Sorry about that. Have you, either of you, been following the advent calendar that I've been posting up on the Dumbed Down Life website?
I have.
I'm going to let Lance answer that first.
Yes, I have.
I was hoping you'd say no.
Well, no. The fact that you noticed that today's one didn't post properly, I thought you would have noticed. Yeah, well, Doug, what I've been doing is, rather than, you get people send you these things in email and you then forward them on to your friends, and rather than doing it in that, as I've found stuff, I've been posting it on the advent calendar for people to look at. And my father and I were hooked on a couple of these games earlier in the week, up until 5 o'clock in the morning trying to complete that last puzzle. I just wondered whether either of you had found anything just as addictive, and well, clearly, Doug, you won't have done, but have you played any of those games at all yet, Lance?
That machine one, is that the one that you got hooked on?
That's the one that we got hooked on, yeah.
I can appreciate that, because that's a fantastic little game.
Fantastic, and the thing is, there are so many different ways to approach a problem. For Doug's sake, since he hasn't looked at it, what you've got.
Hey, Darren, go on, say it one more time.
I will. Don't worry, I'll get it in a few more times. You have two areas on your screen. You've got a little area where you're allowed to build stuff, and you've got a little area which is the goal. You've also got a block, and the whole of the point is you've got to get this block into the goal area. Now you can do this by building little devices which transport across, or throw it across, or swing it across. And it's always one of these that once you've completed one task, perhaps you have to get it over the top of a wall, or have to get it over a gap, and you feel a sort of bit of pride in, I've completed that one. I'll just do one more.
What did you say it was called?
The Fantastic Machine or something like that. Have a look at the...
Hold on, I'll see if I can get it up.
You should be able
so
to bring
to speak.
You know, the reason I ask is because many years ago, when I had my first desktop computer, which was a stunningly powerful 286 processor, incredibly thrilled that I got to update to 8 meg of RAM. So anyway, I got a load of freebie games that you get when you buy computer magazines and stuff, and there weren't that many that would run on it, of course, because it was a non-powerful machine.
What are you doing?
Sorry.
It's all right.
Evidently, the website you go to actually starts playing music. Sorry about that.
Anyway, there was a game on there called Boxes, which sounds pretty much the same, only a much earlier version of the game you're talking about, where you essentially had a bunch of boxes and you had to get them through various rooms and stuff like that.
I think I know the game you're talking about. It's similar to that, but basically, a lot of those games that we were playing on either the PCs or the Amiga and the Atari STs before that, the very simple concept transfers very well into Flash. So you just go to a website now to play them, and the latest thing is that these sites will actually remember how far through the game you've got, which is a nice touch, so you can come back to it and play the next level. Typically, that wasn't something that was done until sort of recent games.
Yeah.
But it's a mixture of different games and sometimes videos as well. The one from the one from today was a short film very similar to the who is it that did Monsters Inc. and Cars and all that? Pixar, that's it. Very similar to Pixar sort of quality, but it's done by open source group. So they just have a website where everyone who can do a little bit all work together to make something that's then made public and available to everyone, and it's not tied in by copyrights and stuff like that. So all sorts of different things to have a look at on there. I've actually mentioned it on the website that the calendar will stay up, as a background thing, as a bookmark for the rest of the year. But if you fancy going to look at that and all the different games and things, it's interesting little collection. A couple of people have mentioned that they've then taken the links that they found there and sent off to other people and got them hooked on the games as well. So
excellent.
It's a nice little central point.
The game that we were talking about is called Fantastic Contraption.
The Fantastic Contraption, that's the one.
Well, I shall have to. I shall have to go and look at it.
You will now, yeah.
Please,
since you haven't already.
Support your local podcast. The other one that I particularly liked, not necessarily for my use, but was the cut out and make toys.
Yeah.
The reason I like that is my sister's a childminder, and she's always looking for things to do with the kids.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just perfect for her. So as soon as I saw it, I gave her a call, and she thinks it's great.
It's not quite origami, but it's the simple way of using simple bits of paper and stuff to make toys.
I remember back when I was a kid, I used to a big comic collector, and I bought the first edition of the current release at the time of the Fantastic Four, and on the front cover of that, there was a cutout and make Fantastic Four flying car thing. And it was exactly the same as that, with just the little tabs that you glue and fold it all around and sort of make the model. And that's just what it reminded me. As soon as I saw it, it reminded me of that.
Well, I've also seen, or I went to the trouble of printing out, a model motorcycle. A little bit more complex than those, and I just didn't have the patience to do it, unfortunately.
When was that?
Oh, this was a couple of years back. If I can find the link to that, that might end up being another advent calendar thing for somebody with slightly more time on their hands and a bit more patient.
No, we're running out of time, but I'm hoping we are planning on doing a couple of videos ourselves, aren't we?
Yes. Well,
but we are running out of time, aren't we?
Doing separate videos, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not flying over to America to shoot one with Doug.
Well, I did ask you to do while you were out there, but you were on holiday or something, so...
Yeah, we were having too much fun to think of things like that.
I'm actually all prepared to do mine. I just haven't.
I'm not prepared. I haven't got a joke, I haven't got anything, I haven't even got a Christmas hat yet, so I'll have to rectify that this weekend, I think.
Yep, pop into Woolworths, you'll probably get one for cheap.
Do you know, talking of Woolworths, this always blew me away. You know the song Summer of '69? It says, I've got my first real 6-string, bought it at the 5 and dime. Well, that always creates such wonderful imagery to me when I used to listen to the song when I was younger. Turns out, once I came over here, I found out the 5 and dime is Woolworths.
Is it really?
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it's like, Woolworths? That's not at all romantic or dreamy.
So Brian Adams bought his first guitar from Woolworths.
I bought my first real 6-string down at Woolworths. It just doesn't ring again.
It certainly doesn't, does it?
You've got a room to wear clothes you want, no one there to show them off to. This is how past sticks to you. There was a time you had inspiration, a recipe for your life. You were gliding over your youth. All the ashes you spread, all the love that you give, that is who you are. How hard you break for the love you take. All the fires you burn to dry oceans of hurt. All the time that you've wasted in vain. And you're standing still. Your time losing will. You've got so much time to kill.
Buddahead there with Standing Still. Now, I didn't come prepared very well for the show today.
Do you ever?
Usually... No.
Actually, no, you do. I'm sorry. No, you normally got some good topics when you come on. I'm sorry.
To be fair, Doug's probably the one that prepares the most.
Well, actually, I mean, I generally tend to prepare 5 minutes before the show. Unfortunately, today, 5 minutes before the show, I was asleep on the sofa. Now, the reason for this is because I was up until about, 4 o'clock or something this morning, because, what day is it today? It is Thursday. So, Tuesday, I brought my wife's Christmas present home, which is an 8-week-old beagle puppy.
Aww.
Yeah, that was pretty much everybody's response who's seen it so far. Now, the idea was for me to obviously present it as a Christmas present at Christmas, which, tends to be the traditional way to do things. Unfortunately, plans being what they are, things didn't quite go according to plan, so I had to go and pick her up early.
I thought it was going to say there's a problem with the dog breathing when you got it wrapped up in the box.
Yeah. Oh, you're not funny, Darren. But anyway, so I had to bring it home Tuesday. So I presented it to Bobby as a Christmas present, and of course there were the requisite oohs and ahs, because it's incredibly cute. But I've learned some things about puppies that I never knew before. I've learned that they're incredibly energetic, and I'm apparently not. I've learned that if a puppy poos, it doesn't just poo, it walks in it and then treads it all over the damn carpet. This was the other night. We had to pop up to PetSmart, which is, I don't know if you have PetSmart in the UK, but it's a large pet supply store over here. So we fenced her into this sort of mini hallway thing we have. And left the bathroom open with a newspaper on the bathroom floor, figuring, hey, this would be great. If she needs to go poo or pee, she can go into the bathroom, we can clean it up. So we fenced it all off. We went up to the shop, and we were gone maybe, probably an hour, I suppose, at the most. We got back, we walked in the living room, walked over to where I'd fenced her off, looked over, and there was no sign of the puppy. But there was shit all over the floor, all over the fence, and all over the wall. And the puppy was hiding in the bathroom, and she didn't dare come out. She knew she'd done something wrong. It took hours and hours of endless scrubbing. The puppy had to be bathed. Thankfully, we'd picked up shampoo for it. The puppy had to be bathed because it also was covered in poo. And I was on my hands and knees scrubbing. And that wasn't quite what I had in mind when I got the puppy. I'm figuring, runs along the beach with the misty, surf crashing, and it isn't like that at all. It's a bit of a nightmare, actually, I have to be honest. They chew. Good God, do they chew. This thing does. She's called Lucy, by the way. As you can tell, I'm kind of randomly mentioning things because I'm very, very tired today. But she's called Lucy, and the reason she's called Lucy, her full name is actually Lucille, and the reason is because she's a beagle pup. She's a proper hound dog, which is a very redneck thing around here. If you're a redneck, you have to own a hound dog of some kind. So my wife decided she wanted a very southern name for her, so she picked Lucille, which, as Lance rightfully mentioned the other day, is also the name of B.B. King's guitar, which is about as southern as you can get. So yes, anyway, we have a new puppy. It's very sweet and very cute, but it's incredibly destructive, and it doesn't have proper controls over its bowels as yet.
How's Bobby coping? How's Bobby coping? Because I know she's very tidy obsessed, neatness obsessed.
Not too bad. I have to say, the poo incident freaked her out. Finding poo all over the carpet and the walls was a little more than she was prepared to handle. Beyond that, she's been pretty good, actually. And, she's completely in love with this thing, which, you can't help being. It's a puppy. They're all cute. But fortunately, she's been lucky enough to be at work this last week, so it's mostly been me that's had to deal with all the crap, including, like I say, staying up until 4 o'clock this morning because she just didn't want to sleep.
And this will go on. It's not just while she's a puppy. Once she's grown up, she will still need attention, and she'll still poo all over the place. You'll rue the day that you bought that Christmas present.
Yeah, no, the day I rued it was yesterday.
There was plenty of ruing going on.
Rue.
But I mean, she's very cute, and yes, she will grow up, and she will learn to. She pees outside at the moment, but she'll learn to poo outside eventually as well. I pray to God, even though I'm an atheist. Yeah,
it's that bad that she's got the atheist praying to God. Oh dear!
Let that be a warning to you. If you're an atheist, don't buy a puppy.
No. We had the discussion in our house as to can we have a dog? Can we have a dog? And my argument was always no, because we do a lot of travelling out to the States and back and out to see family, and I don't think that it's fair to have a dog trapped in the house all day while we're going to work. And I put down 101 reasons why we shouldn't have a dog. We then one year got outvoted in its case of, well, can we just go and have a look? And of course, once you go and have a look and you go up to the rescue centre, and it's a rescue centre, so you know, of course, that if you don't rescue this animal, it's going to end up being put down. And you think, oh. And so this dog comes bounding up you, and you're probably familiar with Santa's Little Helper from The Simpsons, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is exactly what my dog is like. She's as daft as a brush, and she'll come bounding up to you, and you're like, okay, we'll take that one home. And ever since then, it's a case of, she has become my dog. And it's like, well, I'm not the one that wanted a bloody dog in the first place.
You're right what you say about rescue centres. So, I mean, they're incredible places. They do wonderful work. But that whole that guilt thing of knowing that they're going to put them down. I mean, they may just as well put a sign on its cage saying, "Buy me or we will kill me."
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
I'm on death row. Please save me.
I don't like needles.
But it was bad enough. So you look at that. Well, you're cute, but nah, so you're going to die. You're cute, but nah, you're too big, so you're going to die. Oh, you're all right. Yeah, you've plenty of energy, still young. You're lit. Oh, dear. It was horrible.
You're in London, aren't you, Darren?
Outside of, near sort of Windsor, Reading, that way.
Where did you go for your dog?
We went to a local place. There's plenty of stables and stuff around here, so there's actually a couple of different kennels as well. The Battersea Dogs Home has actually got like an overflow place out here as well. But no, we just went to a local place.
Fair enough. I got mine from a guy called Jeff.
I noticed that when we were out in the States, you see quite a few sort of signs by the side of the road, puppies available here.
Yeah.
Got it from a bloke down the pub, I did.
Well, I mean, this one wasn't quite that easy, but this guy, he actually breeds them himself because he uses them for hunting, and he has over 90 beagles.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the land for it. The best thing was, I've got to tell you this, I drove out, and it was about I suppose it was a good 40-minute drive to go pick this dog up from where I had to fetch it from. And I'd spoken to the guy on the phone, and he said, look, my driveway's a bit hard to spot because I'm right out in the country, so I'll give me a call when you're close, and I'll pull up to the front gate and pop my lights on my truck so you can see me. And I'm like, great, thanks very much, Jeff, appreciate it. So I drove out there, and he did as he suggested, and I saw his headlights, and I pulled up behind him, and he spun his car around and started driving, and I followed him, and we went down this really long, dark country road into these woods with no lights or anything. And I have to be honest, there was just this moment where I could hear banjos in the background. Now, I mean, as it goes, I was obviously completely wrong, and Jeff was a thoroughly nice guy. And so I brought this little bundle of joy home. And there we have it. So that's why I didn't come very well prepared for the show today, because I was up all night babysitting a dog, or puppy sitting, I suppose you'd call it.
So the thing is, you'll be set for topics for the next few shows because you'll never believe what the puppy did this week.
Now, there's a funny side point to this, Darren. And Doug probably knows what I'm about to say. Doug has a thing about kids. And we have talked about this before. And it's like when you say, oh, my kid, she started walking. It's like, yeah, fucking great. Get her back here when she can start talking about science or something, and I'll have a conversation with him. Now, Doug's got a dog.
You never believe that the dog... Great. Get it back here when it's talking about science or something.
Yeah.
Do you know, I did it the other day. I said to Lance, I can't remember what it was now. I said something about, we've already managed to get it to sit or something. And Lance brought that up, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I will never do that again.
You talk about your dog, I'll talk about my daughter. Is that a fair deal?
No.
Got a broken heart again, it must be the millionth time. You're out with all your friends, I'm home alone and crying. You said we'd last forever, forever came at noon. Tonight there's only one thing to do. I'm gonna party like a rock star, hit a bunch of strip bars, wake up naked in a hotel room, throw my TV at the window, smoke a bunch of endo, anything to get my mind off of you. Find a telephone pole to wrap around my car and party like a rock star. After all the nights we spent cuddling on the couch and all the parties I passed up because you didn't feel like going out, I guarantee you Steve and Tyler didn't put up with crap like this. So tonight I'm making up for what I missed. Oh yeah, I'm gonna party like a rock star, hit a bunch of strip bars, wake up naked in a hotel room, throw my TV out the window, smoke a bunch of endo, anything to get my mind off of you. Find a telephone pole to wrap around my car and party like a rock star. Woo! Yeah! Come on! And the more I think about it, the less it hurts inside. 'Cause tonight I'm wanted dead or alive. I'm gonna party like a rock star, hit a bunch of strip bars, wake up naked in a hotel room, throw my TV out the window, smoke a bunch of endo, anything to get my mind off of you. Party like a rock star, hit a bunch of strip bars, wake up naked in a hotel room, throw my TV out the window, smoke a bunch of endo, anything to get my mind off of you. Find a telephone pole to wrap around my car and party like a rock star. Yeah. Party like a rock star. We gonna party like a rock star. Everybody say party. Everybody say party like a rock star. Who looks like a lady? Woo!
JTX and party like a rock star. So next week is our, I'm going to say it, Doug, I'm going to say it. Next week is our podiversary.
And neither Lance or I will be here because I'm going to fly to England and beat him to death for using
Yep, next week will mark our 52nd week, our 12-month, our 1 year of doing the Dumbed Down Life.
That's pretty miraculous, actually.
Do you know, I am quite amazed, actually. Now, when we started doing the whole sort of show, we decided that 3 of us would be a good idea because we could guarantee at least one of us would be around each week. And it seems to have paid off.
Yep, because there's been a couple of weeks, and it's literally been a couple that I've done it and nobody else, and then there's been probably 5 or 6 weeks that you've done it, Lance, and brought in special guests and stuff. And
I'm not sure I've done one on my own. I've done one. I've done one on my own.
I think you did a couple while I was away, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I had Ben in for one of them, and I did one on my own.
And I'm saying absolutely no.
You're just learning from our mistakes, Doug.
Next year is going to be your year, Doug. I can feel it.
Do you know, I've been saying that since I was 18, mate.
Yeah, it's my year. This time next year, Rodney, we'll be millionaires. If you'd like to contact the show, actually, I'm not going to say anything. Let's just play this instead, shall we?
You can call the Dumbed Down Life crew on 07092 274 759.
You can follow us on Twitter. Our account name is Dumbed Down Life.
The email address is ddl.podshow@gmail.com. The website address is www.dumbeddownlife.com.